Here's who I want Elon Musk to reinstate. These are some of the conservatives and Republicans or right-wingers, whatever you want to call them, who have been unfairly banned from Twitter. And this is not an exhaustive list. So if I've missed anyone really important, then just jump on over to locals and tell me who you think should be reinstated, starting with the Babylon Bee. The Babylon Bee. The Babylon Bee, as I said, is the reason that this is all happening. The Babylon Bee is, if they hadn't made fun of Rachel Levine, then I don't know where we would be. I don't know if Elon Musk would have actually made a bid for Twitter had the Babylon Bee not been suspended, because the Babylon Bee, Elon Musk has basically said, is one of his favorite Twitter accounts. That's number one. Number two, Donald Trump. Of course he should be. I know, by the way, that Donald Trump says he is not going to come back to Twitter even if he's reinstated. He released that statement today when he was asked. He said, even if Elon Musk allows me to come back, I'm not going to come back to Twitter. I'm going to launch myself on his own social network, on Truth Social. And I have a couple of things to say. First of all, I don't believe ya. I don't believe ya. I think Donald Trump will be so tempted to come back to Twitter that if Elon Musk reinstates his account, he will come back. I don't think he'll be able to help himself. I hope he comes back to Twitter. I think that would be a good thing. I think that would be an entertaining, a hilarious thing. Oh my goodness, the liberals are their heads are going to explode if Trump comes back to Twitter. So I don't believe that he will be able to help himself coming back to Twitter. I don't know about Truth Social. He launched 2 months ago. By the way, I signed up for Truth Social, and I didn't tell the Truth Social team. I didn't tell the Trump people, just to see how, because I wanted to see what the experience was, because I heard about all these wait lists. I signed up, and just this week, 2 months later, my account was approved. So Trump hasn't even tweeted or whatever it's called, truthed from Truth Social. So I think he'll be back on Twitter, and I think that he should come back. I think he should. And by the way, the reason that he was banned is because Twitter said that he incited an insurrection on January 6th, because even though he posted to stop being violent and to go home, and that he didn't endorse any of the violence that was happening, that wasn't good enough for Twitter. They were just looking for a reason to kick him off. The third person is Alex Berenson. Alex Berenson, nobody spent more time delving into more studies and more research and more data against the grain than Alex Berenson did during the first year and a half of COVID. He did an incredible job about social distancing, masks, lockdowns, vaccines. He did the research that the mainstream media and journalists across the country were unwilling to do. They parroted Fauci. He did the research and the reporting, and he was banned. He was banned for saying that the COVID-19 vaccine the mRNA vaccine changes your DNA. And just a matter of months after he said that, and he was banned for COVID misinformation, well, even the Fauci COVID folks admitted that what he said was true. Yet it was too little too late for Alex Berenson. He should be reinstated, of course, as should Dr. Robert Malone, who was, imagine the audacity of kicking the guy off who invented the mRNA vaccine technology. Like, how beyond, I don't even know the right word here. Well, the word I'm thinking of is ballsy, but the hubris to kick off Dr. Robert Malone when he was talking about the vaccine technology that he invented. Yeah, because Parag Agrawal and his band of woke coders at Twitter know better than Dr. Robert Malone. Unreal. Meghan Murphy, she's a feminist, a far leftist. I disagree with her on probably every single thing on earth, except for the fact that she says that transgenderism hurts women. It makes biological women obsolete. And she said men can't be women. And she was banned from Twitter for that. She sued Twitter and she lost. She should be reinstated. So should James O'Keefe and Project Veritas. My goodness. If there's any reporter who even rivals Alex Berenson for exposing corruption, it is James O'Keefe and Project Veritas. They should be immediately reinstated and given their blue check marks back. Because that, if you remember, was the first tweak. That was the way that Twitter tweaked James O'Keefe before they actually kicked him off, is they took away his blue check mark just to give him a slap on the wrist. It was so petty. It was so teenage of them to do it. But he should be reinstated, and so should Alex Jones. Yes. Even Alex Jones. Don't think of this as any kind of endorsement of what he says. He's a total conspiracy theory nut. but I am all about free speech. And Alex Jones was the test balloon for the left. They kicked him off as one of the first conservatives that they actually banned because they know he's a difficult person to defend, even for conservatives, right? He's a very difficult person to defend. So they used him. They used Alex Jones to move the Overton window of what they would tolerate on big tech. And they always picked these sort of fringe individuals that no one really wants to stand up for because they're nut jobs. And they chose Alex Jones first, and it was successful in moving that Overton window closer and closer and closer to you and to me. So they should reinstate that guy, as nutty and sometimes horrible as he is. They should also reinstate Michael Flynn. Michael Flynn, remember, this guy has been demonized and targeted by the deep state in a way that I pray to God most of us never experience. He was the crux of the targeting of the Department of Justice and the FBI under Obama at the behest of Hillary with this whole Russia collusion thing. Michael Flynn was the one, the weak link, if you will, in the chain that they tried to make this collusion happen. They accused him of colluding with the Russian ambassador when he shouldn't have. And this was the tipping point that threw this whole coup attempt into action. Michael Flynn should be reinstated on Twitter. So should Mike Lindell and Juanita Broderick. Mike Lindell talks about election integrity, and I don't agree with everything that he says about election integrity. I think there were problems in the 2020 election, but every single accusation or allegation that Mike Lindell makes, I don't think is we're not in line 100%, but that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. He has a right to say it. He has a right to make his opinion known and to talk about it. Juanita Broderick, the same thing. I mean, with COVID, with elections, my goodness, if this woman doesn't have a right to make her voice heard in this country, but she was recently kicked off. So was the journalist who interviewed NCAA swimmers at the NCAA championships about whether they thought it was fair for Leah Thomas, the swimmer-born male who is competing in the women's competition, whether that was fair or not. This journalist was kicked off of Twitter. These are just a tiny fraction of the folks who should be reinstated on Twitter. They absolutely should be reinstated.